You know that feeling? Your phone buzzes, maybe an email notification, and bam, your chest just clenches up.
Oh, yeah. Or, like, after a really tense conversation, you feel your face getting hot, almost burning.
Exactly. And then later, maybe after a super stressful day, you just feel completely wiped out. So drained.
You've all been there.
Huh.
But what if those reactions, that clenching, the heat, the exhaustion,
hmm
what if they aren't actually you failing somehow?
Right. What if there's signals?
Exactly. What if they're your body saying, hey, I've got this, I'm doing my best here? It's communicating, just not with sentences,
Yeah. Yeah.
more like signals.
Powerful signals. And that really leads us into this deep dive. We've been looking at some really interesting material about why our bodies do this stuff in stressful emotional moments.
hmm
So, our mission today is basically to try and understand these signals a bit better, decode what the body's trying to tell us.
Yeah, let's dig in. There was a great example in the source material about physical embarrassment, like during Portuguese lessons.
Oh, I remember reading that, feeling that heat surge up your neck, face flushing red.
Yes, in class, or even when actually in Brazil, that really visceral physical thing you just can't seem to stop.
And the key thing there was realizing, okay, maybe this intense feeling, this embarrassment, it wasn't a mistake. It was trying to tell me something, a messenger.
It's a messenger. But the tricky part is, sometimes you know that logically, but you still can't just think your way out of the physical feeling, can you?
No way, logic doesn't seem to cut it.
And there's a good reason for that. Neuroscience tells us the brain isn't just one big boss upstairs. It's more like a network, right? At least 17 different regions all doing their jobs.
17, wow.
Yeah, and they don't always share info perfectly in real time. So, a strong emotional signal from one part might just bypass the logical analysis part, at least initially.
Ah, okay. So you can't just tell your racing heart, hey, calm down, it's illogical.
Pretty much. It reminds me of that Pixar movie, Inside Out. The material mentioned it too.
Oh, yeah, with joy, fear, anger, disgust, all crowded around the control panel.
Exactly. Each one wanting to drive. Fear might slam the panic button way too early.
Or joy gets distracted by something shiny.
Right. And anger just wants to take over. But here's the thing. That doesn't mean the system's broken.
Okay.
It's actually working as designed. Maybe not always gracefully, but it's doing its job. And like we've touched on before, just being aware of the reaction is in control.
But it's the start.
It's the essential first step. Awareness allows for a more skillful response, eventually.
Okay, so if logic alone isn't the answer, what can we actually do when these feelings hit? The source material had this really neat three-step approach, like making a truce with your body.
Guiding, not overriding.
Yeah. So step one is name it.
Yeah, simply name it, feel that tightness, just acknowledge it inside. Okay, my chest is tight. That feels like fear.
Just putting a label on it.
Exactly. It creates a tiny bit of space, some clarity.
Okay. Then step two is think it, which sounds maybe a little weird.
It can feel weird at first,
Mm.
but the idea is to recognize that this reaction, even if it's uncomfortable, is probably your body trying to protect you somehow.
So like an internal, okay, body, thanks for trying to keep me safe.
See,
Yeah.
it shifts the perspective from fighting it to acknowledging its, intention.
Right. And then the third step is guide it.
Yes, guide it. This means doing something gentle to sort of orient yourself. Maybe get up and walk around for a minute.
Or like humming, splashing cold water on your face.
Yeah, exactly. Small things. The goal isn't to instantly erase the feeling, but to kind of steward it, give it some direction instead of just trying to squash it down.
Direction, not domination. I like that. It feels like my body would respond better to that anyway.
It often does. It ties into that idea that these little signals, they aren't just interruptions. They're kind of like invitations to pay attention.
Invitations.
And the analogy used in the material was great, comparing your nervous system to a golden retriever.
A golden retriever. Okay, how does that work?
Well, think about it. Super loyal, right? Yeah. Wants to help, but sometimes maybe a bit overeager.
Huh. Yeah, I can see that. Barks at the mailman every single day.
Exactly. So the bark, the physical sensation or the emotion, it isn't the dog being bad or broken. It's trying to alert you, hey, something's happening.
Okay. So my racing heart before a presentation isn't failure. It's my inner golden retriever going, woof, big moment, pay attention.
Kind of, yeah. And what do you do with a barking dog? You don't usually just scream at it, right?
Oh, to try to figure out why it's barking, maybe soothe it, take it for a walk.
Precisely. You guide it.
Yeah.
And that's how we can approach these somatic signals, these physical messages, with curiosity, with gentleness, They're loyal, even when they seem totally off base.
They're loyal messengers. That leads right into another key point, doesn't it? Like
Yeah.
all these emotions, even the loud, uncomfortable ones, they belong.
They absolutely belong. There was that quote, "Your emotions aren't mistakes. They're messengers. Sometimes early, sometimes loud. Always loyal."
Always loyal. That really hits home. It's like the message from Inside Out. Again, every emotion has a role, even if it feels misguided sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And it's a good reminder, too, that even when we feel perfectly still on the outside, our body is always listening, always sending tiny signals.
Like even a little muscle clench
Yeah.
or a quick blink.
Yeah, every little flutter or shift, it's the body just quietly saying, hey, still here, keeping watch. It's not weakness, it's vigilance.
That constant watchfulness and learning to trust that, to honor those signals instead of always pushing them away. That feels like where real self-trust starts to build.
I think so.
Yeah.
And actually looking ahead, that connects to what we'll explore next time. This link between feeling, say, underfed or overwhelmed, missing those internal cues.
And feeling like you lack motivation.
Exactly. Which again, might not be some kind of moral flaw, but maybe another set of signals we're not quite decoding yet.
Interesting. And just a reminder, if this way of thinking is new for you listening, going back to week 0 could be really helpful for the foundation.
Definitely recommend it.
So wrapping this up for today, the big takeaway feels like this. Our nervous system, our body's response system, it's not broken.
Not at all. It's constantly talking to us, doing its best to help us navigate everything, using these physical sensations and emotions,
And the real shift comes when we stop seeing them as problems to shut down.
and start trying to learn their language,
Oh.
to interpret the signals.
So here's something to think about. How might things change if you started approaching your body's signals differently? Maybe think back to one physical sensation you felt recently. Just pause for a second. What message do you think your body might have been trying to send?